In today's News Daily video, I'll be speaking about the latest in regards to our hunt for a new goalkeeper. Is it time that Kepa gets replaced? Later on, I'm going to speak about the latest in regards to lauturo Martinez and the reports coming out from Italy. And of course, I need to speak about the young 16-year-old wonder kid that we just signed from Sweden. And to wrap up today's video, I'm going to talk about Nike's plans to revamp how they create kits for clubs and how next season might be looking like. But you guys, before I even get into anything, if you like today's video, smash that like button, help me get over 2,000 likes. Now yeah, I know I'm being very ambitious, but I feel like I need to start being a lot more ambitious with my demands. So if you guys want to help me out, if you like the content, if you support what I do and what I bring to you guys, then make sure you smash that like button. And from that point on, I think it's time that we get straight into things. I'm going to get the quick report out of the way because I want to talk about how our next season kits could potentially look. Now yesterday, news did come out that Nike are looking to revamp how they create kits because there has been quite a lot of criticism towards them due to how they use templates and recycle them every single time. You know, you look at your other rival clubs and really they have the same identical kit as you, other than different words or sponsors. Now, I do understand that this could be a cost-effective measure for Nike, but you know, in this day and age, you want your kit, the item you pay for, to be different, to be unique. And this promise from Nike came yesterday where they announced 3 new national team kits for South Korea, the USA, and Nigeria. And as you guys can see on screen, I can't lie, but every single one of these absolutely bangs. I think the Nigeria kit is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I missed out on getting the last one. I'm not going to make that same mistake again. Now, as you guys can see on screen, these are the potential leaks for how our kits could be looking for next season. Now, what you're seeing on screen now is actually coming from the third kit. Now, at this point in time, I'm not really an expert in regards to, just how valid these claims are. I know that footy headliners have made a name for themselves over the years, really announcing kits really early. And already we can see some bold prints being used for next season. Now, I kind of like the combination of blue and reds. I'm not really too sure how a red kit would suit us, but I think if you can, mix it up a bit, modernize things, I think it could work. I think this season really proved just how popular kits can be for fans. And I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about how kits could shape up for next season? Now, I move on to the next story, and this is coming out from Italy. Now, this has come up from Calcio Massato to be more specific, and they're talking about how there's a lot of English interest in lauturo Martinez from Inter Milan, with us being one of the most notable clubs showing that sign of interest in the player. Now, what's interesting about these reports is that they're suggesting that we're looking to offer either Emerson or Marcos Alonso to Inter Milan to hopefully bring down the price for lauturo Martinez. Now, reports suggest that Martinez does have a 94 million buyout clause. Man United actually made an inquiry and they got quickly put down. They said straight away that they are not spending that type of money. And when you consider that, we're looking at other big targets, Martinez doesn't cost as much. He does play in a position that we need some depth, support and quality in. And if Lampard had the possibility of working with 2 of the best young strikers in Europe right now, could that affect how he changes the formation? Could that affect how the team plays, his ideas, etc, etc? I mean, there's so many possibilities. Now, Barcelona have had long-standing interest in the player. It's really no surprise, when you're from South America, Real Madrid, Barcelona, they are always the 2 clubs that you want to look at and hopefully have the opportunity to play for one day. But if you're Martinez, you're thinking, okay, with Barcelona, they have Griezmann, Suarez, Messi. Now, how many years do I have to wait to really play in my best position and have the team built around me? Martinez might feel like, listen, if he does decide to go to Barca one day, maybe going straight from Inter to Barca might not be the best move. Why not test yourself out in the Premier League first? Now, I think the only thing with Martinez for me is, if you were to sign him hypothetically, you would have to play him up front, either with players playing close beside him. I'm thinking of maybe 2 inside forwards playing very close alongside him, or if not, he needs to play up front with another striker. So far since he's made a name for himself, he's really done his best work when he's working alongside a partner. And in those regards, I could see Martinez and Tammy being a thing. I think Martinez would have to replace or be competition with Mason Mount for that area, because with how we use our number 10, well, we don't use a number 10. We use a shadow striker. And with lauturo Martinez being the type of striker that likes to withdraw from play, drop a bit deeper, well, that could add a different dimension to how we break down teams. Now, you guys have known that I've really liked this player for a long time. When he was first starting to make a name for himself in Argentina, I was publicly talking about why I really like the player a lot on my channel, and I was always wondering, why is it that clubs like us never really take that gamble to sign a Martinez right now? Honestly, when I first saw him play, I just instantly knew that this guy was going to be the next big top striker for the next 10 years. He was easily going to be worth 100 million because he is so unique with how he plays. He has so many unique attributes to his game as well. He mixes strength, composure, he can drop deep, he can play people in, he has the playmaking abilities, and very skillful as well, as long as a very deadly finish. We're seeing what him and Lukaku are currently doing together at Inter Milan, but imagine if you had him alongside Tammy Abraham. Two young strikers, two strikers that can only get better. Imagine if they had the possibility of playing alongside each other more. Who knows, you guys? Again, you know, with these stories like this, I can only hypothesize how a reality could actually work. I don't think this is the most realistic option because with Mason Mount and other players in midfield as well, I don't feel we're a team that is like Inter Milan where we only create opportunities for our striker. At this club, midfielders and wingers also have the opportunity to score. So for those reasons, you need to really care towards those players more than just focusing on your striker. But obviously, with reports like this, I can't help myself from thinking the club want to make a marquee signing. So far, I feel like Jadon Sancho is the #1 target, but crazy things happen in football. Who knows what happens? Let's say we couldn't get our #1 or #2 marquee signing, then maybe Martinez could be next on that list. It's about time that the club start to spend big again now. I think the next summer is going to be the perfect opportunity to do this. It gives the fans confidence, but most importantly, the investors as well. You know, the people, the companies investing money in the club, you give them the assurance that they've invested their money wisely. But anyway, you guys, we now move on to the third story for today, and I'm going to talk about Onana and maignan from Lille. Starting with Maignan, it's come out that we've actually been monitoring this player for the past few months. Now, this is quite interesting because it tells us immediately that maybe there has been some doubts in regards to Kepa for a much longer time than we originally thought. Last season, he did win the Ligue 1 goalkeeper of the season, and it was no surprise why, because he made so many incredible acrobatic saves, and he was a calming presence in the books for Lille as they were able to fight their way into getting a Champions League spot. Now, he does have a reputation for making great penalty saves, and we do know that Lille are traditionally a selling club due to their business model. So far, reports are suggesting that the player could cost up to £31 million to sign. But if you're asking me, is Mike the upgrade to Kepa? And that's what I really mean, because if we sign a keeper, preferably I like him to be better than what we currently have. And I'm not too sure. But due to the finances, due to him being quite affordable, and if you're asking me, due to the fact that I feel like it is going to be hard to get rid of Kepa because he's on massive wages and most clubs don't need a goalkeeper, maybe the best solution is to sign another keeper to have competition and let these guys fight out for the #1 spot until we find an eventual winner. Now, moving on to Onana, a player who I feel could be better than Kepa. Well, reports have come out that he's actually made his intentions clear that he wants to leave Ajax in the summer and he wants to come to the Premier League. Now, it's obvious that with reports being so public about Kepa's future being in doubt, if you're a young goalkeeper looking to make your name in the game, looking to go to the next level, then of course, if you see that there's a possibility and an opportunity to get the #1 spot at this club, you know, in London, with the money, with the ambition, with the players around you as well, then this could be the perfect opportunity. And I really feel like Onana deserves it because he's shown consistent class over multiple seasons. He is a traditional sweeper keeper in the same mold as your Edison, as your Alisson, and it's no surprise to me why clubs, you know, big clubs that we're competing with are tending to prefer goalkeepers of these dimensions. I feel like with their ability to help create attacks as well as their ability to help save counter-attacks, because when you're a big club, most times opportunities you're conceding are counter-attacking goals to smaller teams. You want to know that your goalkeeper is still composed in these areas. You want your keeper to be confident when he leaves his box to close down the opposition player to win that ball. You want to see those types of things. You do not want to see any doubt. And in these areas, I feel like Onana might have the advantage over Kepa. Now, Onana spoke about how hard he's found it to move on to the next level. He said that when Ajax played against Man United in the Europa League a few seasons back, he had a host of Europe's best clubs ringing his agent, trying to talk to him and to speak to the player about a move. but Onana stated that he felt like his skin color was the limiting factor holding him back, because clubs kept telling him that they were nervous that their fan base might not accept a black goalkeeper. Now that is quite disappointing, but it's typical, because in football, I feel like stereotypes are so strong. Most times you think of a black football player, you're thinking of someone 6 foot plus, muscles, pace and power, the same normal stuff. If Onana was to sign for us, he would not have that issue. Even if some fans did, our club doesn't tolerate that nonsense. Our club has shown that they are the leaders when it comes to fighting against these types of fans, these types of people. And if Onana signed for us, he'd get fully supported and fully backed. At this point in time though, reports suggest that Lampard is still going to hold conversations with Lauturo and Petr Cech in regards to Kepa's future and whether we should still keep him on and invest in him. But you guys, I want to ask this question to you. Is Onana the guy? Is Onana the player that you want us to sign for next season? Let me know why you want him here, and if you don't, also let me know as well. But you guys, on that point, I'm going to end things with a final story for today. It's a story that I spoke about last year, April time. It's in regards to a teenage sensation coming out from Sweden. His name is Edwin Andersson, and we've just signed the player. Now, last year when I covered the story, I spoke about the fact that he was only going to sign for us once he turned 16 because he was 15 at the time. A move was already in place all the way back then. And when it comes to his playstyle, his dad described him as a player very similar to Hudson Odoi. Now, that's no surprise to me because of how they use their acceleration, how they cut inside, how they take shots. They mix the playmaking with the attacking ability, and also due to the size of the wingers. Now, in an interview with Sweden's Chelsea supporters club, Edwin said, "I usually stick to the left and would well describe myself as a technical player, fast, and I like to challenge a lot, one-to-one and create chances." We asked if he had visited Stamford Bridge before, and the teenager replied, "Yes, I have. Magical Arena, blue is the color." And right now, you guys, it looks like we're starting to just really pattern the entire Scandinavian market and region. We've signed Ballo, a young Austrian player. We just signed Fiabema. Edwin has just signed for us as well. And are we starting to do something similar that we did with how we scoured the Belgian market? Where we completely 100% completed Belgium. We found their best players. We actually signed all of them and then did absolutely nothing. Regardless though, I feel like Edwin's made the best personal choice to sign for us. The club's different. If he keeps up his form, if he works hard, if he excels, well, you are going to get an opportunity to play in the first team. And if he can get there, then anything can happen. But you guys, on that point, I'm going to wrap things up with today's News Daily video in the comments below. And I know that there was a lot to talk about and think about and discuss in today's video. Give me everything, you guys. I'm going to read it all. Thank you for watching. I'm EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys in a bit.